Welcome to Hobby Clubhouse with a review of the HGAC Gundam Heavyarms, the third of the 5 lead mobile suit Gundams from Gundam Wing, which if you really think about it, they were totally terrorists. They were really handsome terrorists. The series holds a special place in many North American fans' hearts because it was the first network broadcasted and mass-marketed Gundam series there. So, it's first love for many Gundam fans, and I imagine many will pick up this kit with good prospects that the Gundam Death Scythe and the Shenlong will come down the line. But for now, we have the Heavyarms, which went on sale October 24, 2020 in Japan for a price of 1,650 yen. The box is a standard HG size at 30 by 9 by 6.5 centimeters, with a beautiful illustration by Kinoshita Tomotake, showing the Heavyarms and Sandrock shredding through a bunch of poor Leos, reminding you that yes, you can buy all of these now. Very clever. On the side of the box, we have the standard studio shots showing off the weapons and the hatch opening gimmick. Other side is a profile on the Heavyarms and an additional picture that looks kinda like the box art but actually isn't. Inside the box we get 9 runners, with one being the polycaps. The kit shares the same joint parts with the Sandrock, with these 2 runners labeled Gundam Wing Frame, so we'll probably be seeing them again in the Death Scythe and the Shenlong. There's a small sheet of foil stickers with the green stickers for the eye and the head camera, and then blue stickers for the 2 chevrons on the chest armor, and then 2 more yellow details for the vents on the lower part of the chest. Next, we have black lines for the back and the side skirts, and then the vents on these side skirts. Finally, we have a gray wraparound stickers for the vents on the shin, and then 4 more gray details for the ankle armor. The manual features a much more exhaustive profile for the Heavyarms than on the box, and then the expected details on each weapon along with the coloring guide. The remaining colored space is all for assembly instructions, and the back black and white part is entirely dedicated for assembly instructions. The Heavyarms is not a complicated build, and you'll be done in a little over 2 hours. You can get through the kit quite smoothly with just a pair of cutters and nothing else. And in the end, here's a completed Gundam Heavyarms, with the big boxy shoulders and the very iconic red forehead. No thanks to all the later iterations of the mobile suit, like the Endless Waltz Heavyarms Custom, this base form can seem a little bit underwhelming. But if you see it among the original 5 lead Gundams for the TV series, it definitely has a distinct character, and it tells us that, just because you can't aim, it shouldn't stop you from piloting a Gundam. The coloring is deceptively nice on this kit, with the tonal gradient from the white to the yellow, to the orange, and then to the red. For example, the Gatling gun's barrel is in a light gray, while the other parts are in black. The gray coloring continues underneath the hatches, with the guided missiles in the shoulders colored in gray, just like the micro missiles on the sides of the legs are also colored in gray. The 2 giant Gatling guns in the chest, of course, are also in gray with sharp details. What's not as nice are the big seams, like the ones running along the whole shoulders that could have been hidden as a panel line. And then there's this one on the shin, which isn't quite as bad because this one is covered by the knee armor for the most part. The 2 machine cannons on the shoulders are in red and need to be colored, but they're actually separate from the black cover on the top, so it's quite easy to paint them up neatly. The chest chevrons do look very bare without coloring, and the stickers will need a bit of work to be lined up properly. And the 2 yellow exhausts underneath are done in orange, so they aren't as noticeable if you didn't know they were supposed to be yellow at all. And here's what else you get with the kit, and it's not a lot. You get 3 sets of hands, a set of gripping hands, a pair of open palms, and then a pair of trigger fingers, which ironically have no use on this kit at all. Then there is a connection piece for you to store the Gatling gun by connecting it onto a slot on the backpack like this. It also goes on the other side if you like. And then of course we need to look at what makes the Heavyarms, the giant Gatling gun. To equip it, you first pull off the fist, and then slide the gun right onto the forearm. There's no notch or anything to lock it down, but the amount of friction is in the perfect Goldilocks zone, holding the gun in place firmly, while also letting you remove it without any trouble at all. The barrels don't rotate, but there is a movable handle that flips out for some extra stability, though, to be honest, posing with the handle tends to look a little bit awkward and clumsy. Now moving on to the built-in weapons, we first have the army knife on the right arm, which simply flips forward. You can do the odd spinning cut from the animation if you like. Then there are the opening panels, which we've seen a bit of already. The panels and hinges can actually be pulled off, which is very convenient if you're going to paint the kit. It's worth mentioning that the shoulder parts here are recessed in such a way that, under normal lighting, it looks a little bit black, which is really nice. There are a total of 6 panel doors that swing open, and here's the Heavyarms in its full firing mode. And here's a comparison of the doors open and closed. Onto the articulation from top to bottom, we have the head which barely looks up and down, but it does swing all the way around in a full circle. The shoulders are on a swing out polycap joint, but this joint just barely swings out before the huge shoulders come off. But the shoulders do swing all the way around in a full circle with nothing blocking. The biceps rotate around in a full circle, and the elbows are a double joint and folds up close to 180 degrees. The waist actually does not allow itself to bow forwards or back, but rather, the Gundam wing frame hip joint has this pivoting mechanism that allows you to swing the whole joint forward. You have to lift the upper torso up a little bit from the polycap joint, but it does dip forward a little bit. Another feature of that piece is that the back skirt swings up and down, which is very rare. But going back to the hip for just a little bit, it does allow the upper torso to do a full rotation. The side skirts swing up and down this much. And then the front skirts swing up and down this much. And then of course, they can be cut apart like so. The legs kick forward all the way up 90 degrees, and they go nearly as far back thanks to the swinging back skirt. The entire leg joint swings forward too, so combined with the waist, the entire kick can sit on the floor in a 90 degrees bend. The lower thighs rotate along the peg, and then the knee joint is a double joint that allows a near 180 degrees fold. The ankles swing forward and backwards, though not really a great deal, but they do move much more to the sides like this. All in all, here's a Hobby Clubhouse 3-point verdict on the HGAC Gundam Heavyarms. Number 1. It's an accurate rendition of the Heavyarms. What you get in the box is a Heavyarms that looks as it should with all its colors and all its details. It's orange where it needs to be orange, it's gray where it needs to be gray, so if you like the Heavyarms, it won't leave a lot to be desired. Number 2, the posing possibilities are a little bit limited. This is mostly due to the big shoulders and the limited waist movement, but this is also due to Heavyarms in the show basically being a stationary firing turret. There's not a lot it does in the animation other than spraying bullets, so there's also not a lot that you might want to do with the kit other than standing here and looking like it's doing that without any of the cool pyrotechnics. Number 3, it's better with the other main cast. By itself, the Heavyarms actually isn't a lot to look at. But remember that this is 1/5 of a full main cast, and you're meant to have all 5, if Bandai is meant to have its way, so it'll look much better with them, honestly. Or at the very least, if you display it with a poor Leo being slapped around by it, it's going to look all the much better with the context. The Heavyarms works best with other kits, so that's a great excuse to buy more kits like this TV Wing Gundam Zero here, which I have an excuse to show because people seem to neglect this kit a little bit, and oddly it's a little bit short compared to the Heavyarms for some reason. But that wraps up our review for the HGAC Gundam Heavyarms. It's perfectly decent, though it may not be that satisfying just on its own. Thank you so much for watching. Come hang out with us on social media, links are in the description below, or stay a while longer with one of these other awesome videos. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified when there's a new video from Hobby Clubhouse, and I'll see you next time.